things estranged children say. I didn't ask to be born. You're excusing abuse. I have every right to hate my abuser. I'm breaking generational curses. Who's breaking a generational curse by carrying on hate? The same hate that keeps generational curses going. Well, I didn't ask to be born. Welcome to the side of evil and darkness. Because you know who says that? People who basically worship Satan. Because you're denying the one who created you. You might not have asked to be born, but he wanted you born. What did they do to abuse you? I'm not talking about the exceptions, okay? People who have been essayed or physically beaten or completely berated and called terrible names when they were children, okay? I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about the ones who think it's okay to cut off your parents because they simply do not validate your feelings, and your parents don't let you project your stuff onto them because you're an adult now and you are responsible for yourself and your own mental problems. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. I hope this helps. Bye-bye.
Does she hope it helps? Is it me, or does she sound really angry and bitter and hateful of those of us who have walked away from our parents, regardless of the reason? I find her to be really angry. But anyway, let's break this down a little bit. I have watched a bit of her content. She's hard to watch. I think you'll agree with that. And the reason I don't have her in shadow is because I feel like sometimes it's really important to see the facial expressions of certain types of people. And so that's why. There's going to be a few videos that I make here and there where I don't keep them in shadow. Part of the reason I keep them in shadow when I do is because I really want to prevent more division and the throwing of hate around and, you know, people going onto their platforms and boosting their algorithm and just all of those different things. Am I going to continue not to show certain people in shadow? I don't know. I'm growing along with all of you and trying to figure out how to best do things along the way. And I really am trying to make the estrangement community less about us and them and humanize everyone where I can. And then there's people, well, doormat mom, perfect example. There's no humanizing there, right? So, and if you know, you know, and if you don't, well, she's next. I've done some things with her, but I'm getting ready to do a little bit more. That being said, so this person, as far as I know, was an estranged daughter, and she's just so godly and perfect that she found a way to re-engage in a relationship with her mother. As far as I know, I don't know the status of her mother. I don't know if she's still alive or any of that, because she is hard to watch, and I just don't know that I can. My heart's even beating from her, like, do a deep dive. I might. If you guys want me to, I will. How about that? If you want me to, drop it in the comment section and I'll do a deeper dive on her. I think that for whatever reason, she has taken on the responsibility of repairing the relationship with her mother and blames herself for having the estrangement and carries a lot of guilt for that. Why? I don't know, because I don't know their situation. I do know that nobody comes out this strongly with this much anger towards a community of people who are estranging from people who hurt them, regardless of what the childhood was like, and we'll get to that in a moment. I know somebody who has this kind of viewpoint, the way that she does, something happened or something is happening. And I'm not here to throw shade on mental health issues and things like that. This is not that. And when we talk about things like, a narcissist parent or narcissistic parent, I'm careful not to call everyone a narcissist, because not everybody who has narcissistic behaviors is a narcissist. My mother is a sociopath and a narcissist. I cannot tell you how many people in the professional field of psychiatry and psychology independently tell me the same thing based on her behaviors. So that's why I refer to her that way. This person is doing that typical thing that estranged parents do. So I'm really hoping she doesn't have children, in that she's defining what is acceptable to be called abuse, for example. And many of them do the same thing. Well, I'm not talking to the ones who were really abused, right? Well, abuse is to cause harm. So you can't define abuse for one person against another. You can't define experiences. If it happened once, it happened over and over and over again. And she's acting like she's really getting to know the estranged adult children. However, she misses the mark all over the place, but what she really misses, and what she wants to hide behind validation. So there is a video where she's talking about, I have like a hair. Anyway, she has a video where she's talking about how 2-year-olds need validation, and maybe they need a validation when they're 5 and 6 and 7. And she kind of talks like that, actually. But adults don't need validation. And so, well, she's in a relationship with what was her estranged mother. And I guess she's convinced herself that she doesn't, and it's actually quite sad as I say it out loud, doesn't deserve validation for whatever led to the demise of their relationship in the first place, right? And as we go along with her, this thing about, well, if we're estranged, we must hate. And no, we're estranged because we love, because we learn to love ourselves, or we're trying to learn to love ourselves so that we aren't stuck in hate and painful experiences repeating themselves in pretty much the same way over and over again. She's missing the part of the estrangement where it isn't about childhood. It is about adulthood. She makes it seem like it's because we're not getting validated. I don't know about you, but I was willing to have a relationship with my mother and never get validation, but just have a relationship with her like nothing happened. The only thing that I needed was her not to hurt me anymore. That's what I thought. I didn't realize the monster that I was dealing with. And this was about 17 years ago, 19 years ago now, actually. I was willing to do anything to have a relationship with my mother, including betray myself and not give myself what I deserved, which was validation and is validation, and it will always be what I deserve. It's just not something I seek from her anymore because I can provide it to myself. And why is that? Because I estranged, and because instead of looking for my mother to heal a wound that she created, I did it myself. We don't estrange because we're not getting coddled. That's almost like what she's saying, right? Most of us estrange because in our adult life, the behavior of the abuser, who, oh, I'm so glad we're allowed to hate them, doesn't change. And I think she has this perception that we're adults now, we're responsible for solving the whole load, and like if they continue to behave badly, that's okay. I mean, that's basically, she's missing the whole thing. Anywho, see. Thoughts? Feelings? I'm pretty sure she doesn't have children. So that's the good news. And I actually do feel sad for her because there's something that she's missed, that she feels that because she's so high and mighty and she fixed it and she doesn't worship Satan, that the rest of us should jump on her bandwagon. Oh, and generational curses. When I hear that, I'm already like, here we go. Because it's not a generational curse. That makes it seem like something from the outside is casting a spell. It's generational dysfunction. And sometimes the only way that you can break that is by breaking the chain and walking away and starting over.